Hey, Kyle, this one is for you. After asking you about going through your worst slump as a pro or maybe a hockey player a couple of weeks ago, I feel an obligation to ask you how it feels now to get untracked. And it looks like you had some of your swagger back.
Sure, it always feels good to contribute. I think our last 4 or 5 games, I think it was just a combination of getting our game right, getting ready for the playoffs, and that's our focus here.
We'll go back to Kelly Moore for a follow-up. Go ahead, Kelly.
So when you're going through something like that, Kyle, are there things you have to remind yourself? I'm sure your teammates and the coaches are being supportive, but what about you?
Can you rephrase that? I don't know if I really got that.
Okay, when you're going through that slump, for the 10 games, I'm sure you're getting support from your line mates and the coaching staff and that sort of thing. But what about you in terms of reassuring yourself that, you'll get back to contributing on the score sheet and not just in other areas?
Yeah. It's just, we got a pretty good group here. So, just talking with the guys and, every day we come in, we try to get better and, we look at videos. So that's kind of what I was going through and, just trying to find my game and, try to get in the playoffs running here.
We'll go next to Jeff Hamilton from the Winnipeg Free Press. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thanks, Gregor. This is for you, Adam. I want to ask you about Mark Scheifele. Obviously, you've been a teammate and a friend of his for some time. As part of your leadership and understanding that, leadership comes in various different ways. How is Mark the best leader?
Like how does he lead?
Like his style. Like what is his leadership? When you think of Mark Scheifele and leadership, I mean, we obviously know about his talent, but when you think about Mark's leadership, being on this leadership group, what does he do best as a leader?
He just comes to the rink every day and he's looking for ways to get better. He's, always showing guys different things, whether it's their game or the team game that, you can improve upon. I think you always see kind of his work ethic. He's out there 20, 30 minutes before pretty much every practice. He's always on the ice. He's always improving his game. And, he kind of drags guys into it that, he takes them along. He's made so many improvements in other people's games, other people, how, they take care of themselves off the ice. And, I think it's not necessarily a certain style. It's kind of what he does, what he, contributes behind the scenes that, kind of shows up on the ice for our team.
We'll go back to Jeff Hamilton from the Free Press. Go ahead, Jeff.
Just to stay on that leadership, Adam, we hear a lot about the need, for everyone to feel a part of them, a part of, and obviously a part of it, if you will, and obviously this being the playoff run. Is there anything that you guys do, because we've heard a lot about, everyone owns the loss, everyone owns the win. Is there anything that you guys do as a team so that you ensure that everyone is feeling part of it?
I think it's just trying to, make sure, everyone's feeling included. It's tough. You have more guys this year. There's not really a whole lot you can do outside of the rink, whether it's, getting together in the team lounge after games, on the road or, just enjoying the time we have at the rink. I think that's kind of been, our focus is making this a place where everyone enjoys coming. Everyone feels like they're contributing, whether they're playing, a couple of games or they're in the lineup every night or, they're playing a couple of minutes or they're playing big minutes. And I think, we're very fortunate here that we have a group that gets along so well that, I think that's been something that's been fairly easy for us to integrate is, to make sure everyone kind of on the same page, everyone's, coming to the rink in a good mood. And, it's definitely not the easiest thing. It's tough for some guys that haven't played a whole lot this year, but, they've been great. The guys on the taxi squad have been great. And, I think that's just one of those things where you spend a little more time at the rink because it's one of those places where you can all be together. So now it's, joking around in the locker room, things like that.
We'll go next to Ted Wyman from the Winnipeg Sun. Go ahead, Ted.
Thanks, Gregor. Adam, I'm interested if you could sort of describe for us if Mark Scheifele being absent from the playoffs for most of last summer in the bubble, that impact, is his impact on this team reflected in the fact that, without him, it was so difficult?
Well, I mean, he's one of the best players on our team. I think you look at Helly and him as kind of the two guys. So, you lose your best forward, your number one centerman. It's tough to replace. I think coming into this year, we have a little more depth that we can. I'm not going to say handle that loss, if that were to happen again, but and hopefully, we'd have a few more pieces that we'd be able to kind of weather the storm a little bit better. So, I think you see his importance to the team. Last year we kind of lose him, we lose Patty, and it was tough sledding for us after that.
We'll go back to Ted Wyman for a follow-up. Go ahead, Ted.
And Adam, what kind of things do players like yourself and Mark have to do to at least limit Connor McDavid's chances?
Well, I think it starts with managing the puck, and that sometimes, for me, it'd be making a little safer play rather than maybe 50-50 play. It's you got to take away his speed, you got to take away his transition game, you got to get into his hands, get into his feet, and don't allow him to kind of open up the speed. He doesn't need a lot of space for that. It's a little different with the way Mark plays versus the way I play. I'm a little more physical. I'm going to try and be kind of up and on him, and not allow that. Whereas Scheif, his chances are they're going to have the puck a little more. They're going to create some chances against Connor's line. So it's about, if you get those transition chances, you're in a spot where you can recover, that you're not necessarily giving him or trading chances with him, where that can be a real dangerous game.
We'll go next to Ken Weaver from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Weaver.
Thanks, Gregor. Afternoon, Kyle. What's it going to take to get the power play going again?
No, in playoffs, typically you don't see too many as you do in the regular season. So, we worked on today, had a great practice, moving it well. I think, when you do get your opportunity, you just gotta bear down, and I think it's coming up as a unit, making sure we're strong in every plays, face-offs and all the little details, and our breakouts, supporting each other, and once we get into a setup, it's taking the best option, and not kind of beating to death one option, kind of using all of our options. And I think that's when we're at our best, when we're moving quick.
We'll go next to Carter Brooks from Game On. Go ahead, Carter.
Hey, Adam. Back to Ted's last question there for you, where he asked you a little bit about you and Mark and shutting down Connor McDavid. What would be the ideal characteristics of a shutdown centerman, and in your role against a couple of guys like McDavid and Draisaitl?
Someone that can skate as fast as him. Everyone kind of goes about their business and the prevention a little differently. I think you look at what Bergeron's able to do. He's such a great skater. He's so smart. He's always kind of seems to be in the right position. They always seem to be making the right plays, that they're offensive threats as well as defensive threats. But you kind of look at him, you look at what Jordan Staal was in his prime. I know he's having a great year this year, but we'll go back a couple of years when he was he using his size, his body, he's strong in the circle, he's strong down low, he really stops the cycle. And there's different styles. I think you're never going to have the one size or the perfect mold. I think it's about using what you have and kind of using your abilities. For me, that's my size, that's my length, and that's my physicality. So that's what I'm going to try and use. And I think other guys, whether it's their feet, whether it's their positioning, whether it's their puck skills, and things like that, I think everyone kind of is going to go about it a little differently, but at the end goal is the same. It's about limiting his chances. It's about trying to keep him to the outside, trying not to let him get the speed that he's so accustomed to getting. We know he's going to get his chances. We know they're both world-class players, so it's about limiting the number of chances they get, and when they do get those chances, it's not 2 and 3, it's one and done kind of thing.
And final question to Jeff Hamilton from the Free Press. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, Adam, back to you. So on that line of Connor McDavid, you've said in the past, whenever we talked about your line as a shutdown line, I'm not saying you've been defensive. You just added that, that isn't all that you guys are thinking is the defensive part of the game. You also add the offense, and we've seen that this year for sure. But when you're playing when you have a task as tall as Connor McDavid will be, do you focus just on the defense? Like, is that a victory if you can just shut him down, or are you still trying to add that other part to your game when you're playing against a guy like him?
Well, I mean, he had 105 points. So if I could shut him down and he has 0 in the game, I think, that's really bodes well for our chances. But it's one of those things. You're not just going out there with the sole mindset of flipping pucks out. You kind of want to tilt the ice as well. You want to frustrate them. You want to force them to defend. You want to, create some chances. If you can chip in offensively, that's huge. The chances of him getting on the board in the game are, pretty high the way him and Leon have played this year. So, it's about just trying to advance the puck, making smart plays. I think it's more about being on the right side. You're not cheating for that offense. I think you'll create those chances if you're doing the things properly. If you're, kind of staying, you're going to force some turnovers. You're going to see some frustration, and that's when you'd want to take advantage of that. And when you get your opportunity, you don't want to miss it.